everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently read The Dark Tower, number 4, and this is Wizard and Glass. And of course, this is also illustrated. The eyes are very important. I'm not going to get into why this is so, but this one delves into Roland's past, and we learn more about the wizard and the glass itself and why the glass is important. It's colored glass, and it's a very metaphysical modes of transportation. And of course, from the previous book, we had the showdown with Blaine. Blaine didn't die, and then we have a revelation about who Blaine really is. And of course, it goes into the Crimson King, and of course, we have that whole luring evil of him just kind of lurking in the background and laughing about it. And we come to realize that Roland is definitely more of a tragic figure than we would have come to comprehend. And it's very sad. You feel so much pain for him. I almost cried. I was surprised that it almost brought me to tears, knowing that he had loved, but that love was taken from him in this book's version of the Wicked Witch of the West. And I won't go into who that really is, but of course we have the quartet get back together, and it's interesting that Oi, I think in this one, this is the only mention of him ever speaking. He just says no and he barks. But I thought, that's unusual. And of course, some songs are mentioned like "Hey Jude," and I thought, well, what's the significance of that? Is don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. And I don't know if there's any deeper meaning to the lyrics, but I was just thinking about that for a minute and why Mr. King would have used that as a song that played in, I think it was Eddie's head. Yeah, it was Eddie's head. I don't think it would have been anybody else's head, but you've got Susanna and Eddie and Roland and Jack all together, of course. They get kind of separated throughout the journey, and still the Dark Tower looms ever closer, as it does in every significant book as you go along this peregrination, and it just gets better and better. And you still know that the Crimson King is waiting, and even though he defeated his Walter at the very beginning, you know that Walter was just sort of a subplot, and you hear more about Arthur Eld and the line of the Eld, and it's absolutely fantastic, and it gets more complicated as it continues. And it's the illustrated version, and I'm actually, if I can find, I really like the illustrations. That's why I enjoy these a little bit better. It adds a little bit more to it, I believe, and it has over 600 pages. And of course, Stephen explains himself why he was terrified of writing this particular one, because he had never gotten into a romantic kind of tale before. But he writes romance quite well, I think. I think that even though he's not comfortable with writing something like that concerning Roland's past, he does in a very elegant way, a very poetic way, and a very relatable way that we can all understand. As I think all of us, I think it's just a human emotion to have love, or to be in love, to fall in love. And it's not like your typical fairy tale. When Eddie and Susanna are first joined, it says, and then they knew they were doomed. I think that was the drawing of the three when they realize that they are each other's, Autet, I do believe is what it was called. I don't think it's called a Cotet. I think it's called an Autet. I might be incorrect about that. It's been a minute since I read Drawing of the Three. Um, but I sincerely enjoyed Wizard and Glass. I'm looking forward to reading Wolves of the Kala, which is book 5. And of course, book 6, I now remember, is called Song of Susanna. And then the 7th book is The Dark Tower, the final book in the series. And it's, I was talking to a friend of mine who is a huge Stephen King fan, and I'm the only Stephen King fan I know who liked the movie The Dark Tower, even though it's completely different. I know that they didn't push buttons to enter into the alternate dimensions, but I really liked the film. I just think it was good. Of course, it wasn't exactly like the book. The book was better. I'm not saying the movie was better. I mean, the movie was fantastic. I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't my favorite film, not my favorite fantasy film I've seen done. I would have to say the best movie I've seen all year long would be Valerian. And I started watching the anime, and I really love the anime. And I still think that the film is the best thing I've seen so far this year. And of course, a lot of people would say, well, you're a dork and you don't know what you're talking about. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really beautiful film. And I enjoyed The Dark Tower. But I do think that the books are better. I will give you that. I will give you my dissertation on that. The reason I think that the books are better is because the books give you more fuel for your imagination. The theater of your mind is a spectacular place. And when I was reading Wizard and Glass, I could see all of this coming to pass, and his warped sense of humor, his take on the Wizard of Oz, just with this surreal kind of Lynchian world. That's the adjective I'm going to use. David Lynch, who created Twin Peaks, one of my favorite things. I haven't seen the rest of the series. I hope to soon when I get the ability to have Hulu. And I forget the last episode that I saw. I think it was the one with the explosion, and it went back in time. But anyway, I liked it, even though it was probably the strangest. I've seen some very obscure things in my time, but it's probably the most surreal piece of media I have ever allowed my orbs to ingest. I love every minute. I love every minute of it. And of course, there's a YouTuber, can't think of his name right off the top, but God love him. He's doing the Lord's work and spreading the gospel of David Lynch, uh, and bringing blues and soul to the world to save lost souls. Anyway, I don't know why I threw that in there, but it's one of the things I've been enjoying. I came back from North Carolina not too long ago. Small town. I love my family. Don't get me wrong, but just moving to another small town, I just think would limit me more, and there are fewer people. Even though she said, "Oh, there are plenty of things here. You would be around family, etc., etc., etc." Yeah, I get that, but I want to spread my wings. I want to be able to fly. I'm thinking about two things, and I'm gonna be kind of using my friends as sounding boards because I don't really know what I want to do, but I'm gonna do some research on TOEFL and TESOL. That's teaching English as a second language overseas. Uh, I it's the trip of a lifetime. I still think I could do full sail. I still believe that's something that is definitely achievable. It would give me a chance to become what I really want to become, even though I know it's extremely competitive. And I have a lot of ideas that I'm working on right now. I'm working on my second version of Sublimation. I'm doing a remake of Little Nemo. The original, I loved. I thought, oh, you could do this so much better if you had certain directors that were in charge of it, like Tim Burton, Robert Zemeckis, James Cameron. Actually, I need to add that in my synopsis as a director. James Cameron, and make a Disney property because the original was Disney property, even though it was anime. Um, Doing it as a mocap would be it would be just the most sensational. I want to see it. I want to see it done. I think it could be done in a very, with the technology we have today, it could definitely be achieved, or it could be reimagined as like Fatima and Vert. I've only seen just very the very beginning of Fatima. I'm getting the DVD so I can see the whole thing because I'm so taken by the whole idea. It's so cool. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in such a long time. It's so unique and individual and unlike any other anime I've ever watched. So I'm really excited to see it. Uh, what else? I don't know what else is going on other than I'm going to be in Maryland. It's not Virginia. I looked it up. I thought there is no Hagerstown, Virginia. Of course, it's Maryland. I thought, oh, Baltimore is there. Maybe I can go and stop and see Edgar Allan Poe's grave. I hope I can because Edgar Allan is one of my big inspirations. If you know me, then I, ever since I heard his stories and realized that he was another catalyst for another one of my favorite writers, which would be Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who penned Sherlock Holmes. Had it not been for Mr. Poe, we would have no Sherlock Holmes. And look it up. I'm correct on this. A lot of scholars would agree with me. But other than that, it's those two things are definitely luring me. I'm going to take Griffin to the kennel tomorrow. And I got a couple things to record, but, busy. But that's good. Ooh, he's singing. He hates the sirens. Oh, well. I will see you later. Until next time, live long, prosper. Ciao, Tootsie.